Hey you guys, so I have a life update so far. I was able to go to OHSU this week and I got to have a consult with a GI specialist who specializes in nutrition with slow motility, and I didn't know that I was going to see a dietitian as well with a specialty in slow motility and J-tube TPN cases. And like, I've been to OHSU several times, at least 4 previous times, and it's always been kind of the similar story where it went okay. It wasn't the greatest. They asked a lot of questions and kind of left there feeling like nothing got accomplished. And with dietitians, a lot of the time they just kind of think that if you're on TPN you should be eating nothing by mouth, and that if you're on tube feeds that should be kind of the cure-all for everything, and they don't really see anything outside of that linear scope. But these two doctors, like, when they walked into the room, they knew my name, they knew my history. They said, hey, I know you got blood work 2 weeks ago done, and you had this and this and this study done in the past, and these were the results, correct? You know, they were just trying to see if they knew, they got all their facts correct, and they knew doctor's notes that they've read on my chart from my normal team of doctors, as well as some of the consults with the other GI doctors from OHSU in the past. And they were so attentive. They actually listened to me when I talked, and they asked me questions, and they looked at me when I was talking. They were great. So it came time to do the physical portion of the appointment, and at this point the dietitian and the GI doctor were kind of just talking to each other, and they had me sit on the table, and they both kind of one on each side. They were checking my hair, and they were touching my head and like feeling it all really well, and they were feeling my neck, my back, and my shoulders, my shoulder blades, and they were talking to each other about how this or that and what it means or what it could mean. And then they had me lay down on the table, and they checked my ankles and calves and my knees, my legs and my arms, my stomach, and my abdomen area, and they were just, my J-tube, G-tube areas, and they saw that my J-tube site has a lot of acid burn marks on the skin from where the stomach acid has been eating away at my skin, and they noticed that, and so they asked, and I was like, well, actually I've been having an abnormal amount of poop juices come out of my J-tube stoma, and that's never really happened before, and that is something that's been new in the last couple of months. And it just kind of shows how much my bowels are impacted in this, that they've always been slow, but now they're a lot slower, and since I'm having stool kind of back up and out of it when it's not supposed to be that way. And they asked me to stick my tongue out, and they looked at the angular colitis that I have on my lips right there, but they asked me to stick my tongue out, and they noticed that it was discolored, and they asked me questions about it, like, does it hurt? Does it feel like this? Does it, all these things. And then they started talking to themselves. They're like, well, what did her lab say from 2 weeks ago? Like, what were the numbers for this or that and this other thing? And then they knew why my tongue has been hurting so bad for the last couple of months, just out of nowhere. And my normal GI doctor just kind of gave a guess that, oh, it's maybe because you're malnourished, but I'm not sure. I asked my PCP, and he was just like, well, I don't know, I'm not sure. That's way out of my scope of practice. I asked my nephrologist, and he's like, well, it's because you're malnourished. That's what I'm going to go with. And I asked my dentist, I asked the oral hygienist, and they all were like, well, I don't know. That's weird. We've never seen anybody with their tongue like that. And the dietitian and this GI specialist, they knew what was wrong and why it was hurting so much. And it was such a great appointment. The entire time I was just kind of blown away about how great these two doctors really were and how much they had read up on me. It wasn't like all the other times where the doctors are, coming into the room and they're just now for the first time asking me questions. No, these two doctors, they took time, like actual time, to read up on my chart and read up on other doctors' notes that have left on my chart. They read up on the results of different tests that have been ran, on different imaging that's been done. They kind of already knew. It honestly felt like I had been their patient this entire time. It didn't feel like it was the first time meeting each other. It truly felt like I have had them both on my team of doctors my entire life. It was amazing and it was great. And with all the other doctors that I've seen for consults at OHSU, they've all been like, oh, well, this is just a consult. Basically just trying to tell your doctor, what I would do in this situation. Well, these two doctors, they wanted to see me back again, and they were like, I want to see you back after your brain MRI, and after this test is done, and after this lab is done, and I really want to see you back soon, in about a month. And so I actually have an appointment to see them again at the end of February. And to say that I am really surprised I even got in to see them in January when the referral was sent out in December is mind-blowing to me, because I've had to wait almost an entire year to be able to make an appointment to see a doctor at OHSU. And I got in quickly within the month. And then again, a return visit within the month as well. So these doctors and this last visit at OHSU has been just mind-blowingly great, in a great positive way. And it really makes me feel like I am in good hands right now. And even with these doctors having it been a consult, I know I probably won't have them on my team forever, but at least we have their expertise on the ready, or their recommendations from moving here on forward on what they would do. And a lot was said, and there's a lot of possibilities of different things. And waiting on test results and lab results and MRIs in order to kind of move forward and have a better picture about what's going on. Yeah. So that was my appointment at OHSU.